Roy, will you go sit by him?
Think of a cookie, buddy.
Oh, there's cookies? Oh,
No.
can't take him anywhere. These comments are kind of interesting.
Mhm. You ready?
I'm ready.
We're waiting on the go.
Wait, no.
I swear we got to get him
I
one
need
of
that
these.
little- Are we ready? All right, let's call our regular meeting to order. Madam Clerk, can I get a roll call?
Trustee Giroux,
Here.
trustee Craig,
Here.
trustee Ertz,
Here?
trustee Daniels,
It was.
and trustee Saint Germain.
Okay, with that, we do have a quorum, so we'll move right along.
He said he
Yes,
just.
it's having some connection problems, I think. and
Okay.
so he might have to move his hotspot, so-
Yeah.
Okay, all right,
He said at the end of the other one, he texted me and said, I'll see you in 20.
okay.
So
he'll
should be any
on. He'll
minute,
be
I
on,
would think.
so
Yes.
We'll
He's planning.
just
He's
make note of that when he
planning. Yep.
gets on. All right, let's stand for flag salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, can I get a motion for approval of the agenda?
I'll move that we approve the agenda.
I'll second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion. Oh, is he?
Jesse.
Hey, guys.
Hear the motion. He probably didn't hear the motion.
We just had a motion for approval of the agenda. It was seconded, and we just went for a vote. How do you vote?
I'm good. Aye.
Aye. So motion carries. All right, moving on to, do we have any public comment this evening?
I have none.
Okay. Next is approval of the minutes from our work session, regular meeting on July 17th and our August 2nd special meeting. Can I get a motion?
I reviewed the July ones, but I wasn't in attendance, so I can't
Okay.
help you on that one.
Well, I'm going to move that we accept the minutes, approve the minutes for July 17th, 2023 work session and regular meeting, and August 2nd, 2023 special meeting.
And I'll second that.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
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 Motion carries. All right, next moving on to the consent agenda. Can I get a motion?
Make a motion that we accept the consent agenda as presented.
Second.
Any discussion, questions? All in favor?
Aye.
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 Motion carries. All right. So reports and recognition. From OJSHS, they'd like to recognize Dwayne Tribe and Emma, the new intervention attendants for the building and managing the master schedule, and doing some wonderful things on that. Cheryl and Trinity for the hard work during the registration, and Jake Mecky for being a team player and showing flexibility and professionalism. I would like to say I went up and looked at all the improvements on that school the other day, and it looks wonderful. The bathroom, the new bathrooms are just, wow. That's all I can say. I walked in there and went, geez, it is beautiful. If you get a chance to look at them, they're gorgeous.
Don't look just yet. They're not quite done.
They're not.
We're
They
close.
didn't even. It was just the tile,
Yeah.
and I was just like, wow.
Yep.
They're absolutely beautiful. So good job, Roy and team, and whoever was in on that. Still want to know what your design secret was, so because that thing looks really cool. Your wife, wasn't it? That's good job, Lexi, if you're listening. Anyway, all right. So, and from Timberline, would like to recognize the custodial staff, Dolly Phelps, Shar Alvard, Serena Smith, and Chris Borkland. They've worked hard and cleaned and prepped the building, and the building looks amazing too, bright and shiny. So looks good. So good job. All right. That's all I have. I don't think I missed any. So did everybody have a chance to read all the building reports and program reports?
Yep.
All righty. Okay, I guess we're ready to move on to our discussion items. The first is the policy updates.
Yeah. So Becca should be zooming in.
Oh.
Okay. Yep. It's all good. While we're waiting to get her online, I will discuss the cell phone policy just a little bit. So you guys have the results, and they are connected to that link as well. I believe I put them on one of these links.
Hey, can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we can. So the
Great.
cell phone policy, the information that we had from that, we gathered from parents, students, staff, and you guys can see those results. So just kind of give a general overview. There was about 60% of the folks that were surveyed that answered, responded, said that they were concerned about cell phone usage in the school or during class time. And we're talking about specifically during class time. And then about 80% of the people, a little bit more than 80% of the people surveyed or that answered said that they would support a cell phone policy. So we've developed a little bit of that, sat down with leadership and, took the input from these comments, those type of things from teachers and constituents and built a pretty simple first start. And that's really what we're looking at on the cell phone policy. So on the other policies, Becca has those. So Becca, you're up.
Okay, so what I have for you guys this month is a bunch of first reads, just because they are pretty big and important policies that are in alignment with the new parental rights law that was passed. Those of you that attended the law conference, I think, are pretty privy to some of the logistical pieces that have come along with that. So I have provided for you guys on the policy tracker both what we have now and the changes that ISBA has recommended. The policy committee wasn't able to get together to discuss these yet. So again, this is a first read for you guys. I'm not going to finalize any of them tonight. There's also the required updates to the high school graduation requirements, which now includes the financial literacy piece that was also passed this summer. And then there is a medical one in there that is, again, a part of the parental rights as well. So the majority of them are focused on updating our policies to be in alignment with the new legislation passed on the parental input and rights. So if in the next month you guys get a chance to look at those and make some comments, and then you're more than welcome to attend the policy committee meeting as well, and we'll go over some of the logistics and then put those into finalization. So I'll reach out if we run into specific barriers on those, and if we have options between one thing or another, then we can look at that as well. But just to get your eyes on them, they're pretty complex and it's very new, but so they're at a first read. And as Dr. Garrett shared, I've also attached the new cell phone policy to the policy tracker as well.
All right. So did we have any discussion on the policies, cell phone policy? Do we need?
How do we communicate? Let's say 196 people
Mhm.
How, do we just send out a mass email to everybody?
Yeah, the survey link. Yes.
It was all anonymous, I assume.
Yep, we didn't collect any emails. The only information we collected was whether we separated whether they were staff or, their role, patrons, or you can see on the top. the
Right.
list there.
And
Yep.
students.
Mm-hmm.
So one question I had, I guess, was looking at it, there were some concerns in the comments about kids with medical needs. How are we going to address that?
So it's, we had a lot of discussion about what the actual needs were for a cell phone in the classroom. So keep in mind that every single classroom has a phone.
Yeah.
Not to mention intercoms we're working on at the same time. So we and adults in the room, we're hoping, should be. So we're hoping that it's not a need, but there will be some exceptions. We all know that throughout, like any other policy, there will be exceptions. But in general, we're looking at the distraction in class and the constant, using it to communicate and maybe not necessarily so much as cheating or whatever, but just the distraction and the constant communications. So safety was the number one concern by parents. If there was something to happen, at school, those are one of those things that we practice. We have protocols, and we have communication chains that we do. So, I mean, that's part of what we train on and part of what we have in our policy. So I understand that concern, but I'm not sure that a lot of those things are necessary direct contacts all the time.
All right.
Part of the distraction as well.
Kids that still have their phones in their packs.
Yeah. So there was a lot of discussion about, what is the battle we want to choose to fight? And it's the usage in class. It's not being on a person, and it's trying to teach that responsible use of that device. We're not saying you have to take it out of your pocket every single time, but if you feel like you can't manage it, we'll give you that option. But really it's about not using it during class time.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it was interesting. Good discussion, good in-depth discussion with the principals, with the administrators and leadership, talking about how that would really look. And I think the main concern was not having that on their person. We're not trying to confiscate it, just not in use. Yeah. Did I catch that, General? You guys were there, right? You too. Mm-hmm. With apps and things that they have to have. So yes, that goes back to your first question.
Okay.
If you think of any further questions whenever we get into our action items, we can certainly address those.
Are we going to be ready to vote on this tonight, or is it just
it's something? Well, so I'd like to expedite this one so we can implement. Mm-hmm.
I agree with that.
If you guys are in agreement with it, yes. Yeah. And we all know that, this is our first run at it. And we currently have a cell phone policy that's very similar to what we're proposing. And we just wanted to clean it up a little, make it a little bit more simplified so we could utilize.
Yeah, we've had one for a while.
Probably, yeah. I don't know how many years it's been around since we've had technology type usage agreements. It falls kind of into that. So, yeah.
Okay.
Seemed reasonable to me.
Okay. Any other questions, comments on the policy updates and the cell phone policy?
No, not for me.
Nope. Okay. All right, then I guess move on to our calendar.
Yeah. So the discussion on this is we had our calendar committee get back together and make some recommendations and try to make some decisions and recommend to you guys. So what we're proposing, the calendar committee was looking at this was Tuesday, let's see, on Timberline School on June 7th, which is that Friday, I believe, right? Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And making that at 6:30 in the evening. So we'd have time to get folks there after work, graduation. Mm-hmm. And then on Saturday would be about 4 p.m. is what we were looking at Orofino Junior Senior High School. And then the discussion is, do we flip them the next year? So that was we kind of came to, that's going to be kind of a board decision, I guess. There was one concern about consistency and then the other about fairness, I guess. So whichever one, the consistency of knowing that Timberline's always going to be on Friday might be an advantage, but it may not offer the same solution. So something we need to work through on that one, but having them on separate days is not an issue, and having them after work time is definitely not an issue.
Great.
So June 7th and June 8th is what we're proposing at this point.
So as far as we're just looking
Yep.
at
The
the graduation
just the
dates.
graduation
That's
dates.
all we're
Yep.
looking at as far as an action item.
Yep.
We're not looking at the whole calendar. No, oh, yeah.
So
I understand what you're saying.
anytime we make a calendar change, the board would have to approve the
Yep,
changes on the
gotcha.
calendar.
And it's
Yeah.
just,
So it'd be June. Yeah. So it'd be June 8th here.
It was a dumb question, but that's okay.
no.
You're used to it.
I was thinking the same thing.
Oh,
This
okay.
is at 6:30.
As
Yeah.
presented.
Isn't
Yep.
correct. Yeah.
No, that's the current calendar that you have in your hands.
Gotcha.
Yep.
So it's calendar with change.
Just those changes on the calendar, just like we would approve a school delay or late start or a cancellation.
Okay.
That's an amendment to the calendar.
Well, I think as presented, it identifies the problems or
Right.
solves the problems that were identified
Mhm.
for it. And then if we flip flop it, I think that's fair too.
And so in March, we'll be pulling our calendar committee together again, and we'll be looking at the next year, and we can make that determination at that time and see how this works. And then if we want to flip flop them every time or not. So, yeah. Like I said, it makes no difference to me, and I don't think it makes any difference to the board. We want to do what we can to make it work.
That works. Any more discussion on that one? Okay, moving on to the levy.
Yeah, so I'm just doing a little plug for the levy, I guess. The levy is coming up next Tuesday, week from tomorrow on the 29th of August. And we're asking for the 2-year levy at 2.685 million. I have sent out the brochures. I've attached these. They're on our website as well. Thanks to Russell. I couldn't get that link to the website to save myself. So this is the same kind of this is the informational pamphlet is what it is. It has the history of our levy. It shows what the rates are. And just to kind of give you a quick rundown on that, we're looking at about a 2.88% on the valuations that we have in our district. If you go back to, about 2016, you're looking at $535 million assessed valuation from our district. And this is on real property. And then this last 2023 is about 933 million. It's almost double in the valuations. So when you look at the valuations and we're looking at a flat rate, flat increase and or flat levy. So you're looking at flat numbers, which decreases a percentage because you're looking at a percentage of that tax valuation, if that makes sense. So currently this upcoming year, we're looking at about a 13% dependency on that levy for our budget. If you go back to that 2016, it was about 19.11 right there. So we're looking at, about 6% less dependency on it. So we have decreased that dependency as our budget goes up. Those dollars really go down in the whole scheme of things. So, and we don't know of any place that's hasn't been hit by the increases in the economy and the cost of living and everything else. So this has stayed flat and it's actually decreased in the tax rate. Granted, it's still the same, asked for the same money, but it has decreased the tax rate on the district. Yep.
And that
So-
looks like it's pretty much steadily gone down.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, as our budget goes up, because a lot of districts we have the opportunity to ask for a percentage of the assessed valuation. And that's a pretty common practice in a lot of places where they'll say, we'd like to have, 2% of the assessed valuation. And that's what they'd ask for. And then as your assessed valuation goes up, that 2% obviously increases. So we're looking at a flat rate, which actually decreases the dependency on that. So.
And you've given presentations on this,
Mhm.
right?
Yep.
Community?
Yep. I have a couple more to do. I've been to the Republican Party or committee, the Democratic committee, Rotary. I'm going to do the retirement home in Orofino this next week and the commissioners. So if you guys think of anybody else, I am glad to reach out, but it's time's getting there.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
a week from tomorrow. Yep.
all right.
Yep.
Good. All right, any more discussion on the levy?
Any questions on that? I guess.
Information.
Okay, next up is early graduation students.
Yeah, so I moved I put them on there to let you know they are going to be an action item, but I moved them to September because we had such a full agenda in August. So, and we'll have those. I believe we have. I'd have to look. I believe we have 4 that are asking for early graduation. So I wanted to get them on the docket so they could come and present, and we'll do that in September. Just wanted to make you aware of that. I've had them in my hands, and they actually filled those out last spring. Believe it or not.
Oh,
Overachievers, but that's great.
yeah.
It's
I
perfect.
guess if you want to
Really,
graduate
that's
early,
right.
might as well go. for
That's
it.
right.
Yeah, there you
All
go.
You expect
Serious
less.
about it.
Yeah.
All right. Any more discussion on anything? Are we good? All right, so we need an executive session. So can I get a motion?
I'm going to move that we move into executive session pursuant to Idaho Code 74-206, 1A and B.
I'll second.
Can I get a roll call, please?
Trustee Ertz,
Yes.
trustee Giroux,
Yes.
trustee Daniels,
Yes.
trustee Craig.
Yes.
All right.
Hey, Jesse,
Yes.
if you will disconnect it from here, if you wouldn't mind, and then I will call you. We'll pull you in on a phone. Will that work?
That works. So I'll get off
Okay.
this meeting and close my computer.
Yep. Sounds good. Thank you.
Okay. All right, we are back from our executive session and ready to hit the action items. We have an action item from executive session. Not yet? Oh, we're gonna do that. Okay, okay. Thank you. All right. First action item is our policy updates. The first policy was a first read, so we won't take any action on that, but we need to have a motion for the cell phone policy.
I will make a motion that we accept the updated cell phone policy as presented.
I'll second it.
Any more discussion on that? All in favor?
Aye.
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 Motion carries. Next is the calendar for the 23-24 school year with the graduation change from the Friday evening, Saturday evening
The June.
thing,
June 7th,
and
6:30 at Timberline,
8th. Right,
June 8th, 4 p.m. at Orofino High School.
gotcha. Can I get a motion?
I'm going to move that we change the calendar to include 6:30 scheduled graduation for June 7th at Timberline and 4 p.m. June 8th at Orofino High School.
I'll second that.
Any more discussion on that? Was that the right time?
Was it 18 or was it 6:30 or 6?
6:30 is
Okay.
what we had on there.
6:30,
Yep.
4:30, wasn't it?
6:30
No,
and
it's
4.
four.
I thought it was 6 and 4.
Four
Okay,
o'clock.
6 and 4.
Yep.
Okay. Close enough. All right. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Motion carries. Next is the safety plan, bus routes and the safety busing. Can I get a motion?
Make a motion that we accept the safety bus plan, routes and safety busing as presented.
Second.
Any discussion? No? All in favor?
Aye.
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 Motion carries. Next, grievance resolution number 12023. Can I get a motion?
This was discussed in executive session amongst the Board of Trustees. And I believe the Board of Trustees is just going to go with the recommendation from the committee. No motion would be needed.
All right. Okay, moving on. Universal breakfast.
Yeah, so this one we didn't have on our discussion item. It was a pretty quick one, I think. So universal breakfast, whenever we did the calculations this year, we're looking around $80,000 to do that district wide. Last year, it cost us very similar to that. So we had appropriately budgeted that for this year in anticipation of continuing that on. And I would recommend that we continue the free breakfast for everybody district wide.
So I'm going to move that we approve the universal breakfast.
I'll second that.
Any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
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 Motion carries. Next up is the charging procedure.
So this has been an ongoing discussion. Carmen has helped out a bunch with that. We're trying to collect our charging from last year lunches. Obviously breakfasts were free. So we ended up with around $20,000 at the end of last year that was owed to us from students. Obviously not the free students, but the reduced and the full. So we've been trying to figure out ways how to chisel away with that. And Carmen's done a good job of that. I believe we've got it down to 13,000. Yep. Which are Orofino Elementary and Orofino High School, which is the bulk of our kids. So what we're looking at doing is trying to implement a little bit more proactive plans for next year. We've been looking at doing possibly some discounted pricing if people will prepay, some things like that. So we're in the works of that, but right now, looking at the policy, trying not to run any more bills up. So we're looking at the K through 6 in all schools, not really having a charging policy. We feel those kids are not responsible for their own actions, and we want to be able to feed those kids because we know it's important. The 7 through 12, we've come up with several different ideas, and it costs about $14 a week for a full price student to eat. costs just a little over $500 per year annually. So $518, I believe, is if they ate every single day of school. At full price, it costs them just a little over 50. Is that right? If I got that right? If they were reduced, almost $60 if they were reduced. So we encourage people to fill out an application because a lot of people qualify for reduced and don't really realize it. So we'll continue to push that. What we were talking about is trying to put a stop to the charging. But that's always been a discussion with the board. We want to feed kids. We don't want to keep kids hungry. But if we're feeding them free breakfast, they ought to be responsible for the next meal. That's kind of where we came up with that. Now, again, that's a discussion we all need to have, trying to figure out what's the best way. So we were looking at, there's a full week there, a $14 charge. Even if you did 2 weeks, is a $28 charge. Once they start adding up, it adds up quickly if there's multiple kids in a family as well. So that's the background information. Recommendation that we came up with was saying K6 still continues allowed to charge. The 7-12 would be more responsible for getting their own. Yes, junior high. Yeah, correct. Good point. Thank you. Yep, junior high, high school. Never an easy decision, but us carrying over, $20,000 is a pretty big piece that we don't normally build in.
Well, so I'm going to move that we establish a charging procedure that'd be follow those guidelines pretty much.
For the 7 through 12.
For all of them. K through 6 are not going to do anything. 7 through 12. Yeah. Or whatever they need to do to make it workable.
I'll second.
Any more discussion?
What exactly are you proposing, Greg?
I just wanted to move to establish a charging procedure.
Is there a limit?
Well, pretty much following the guidelines that you've given us here.
So 1 week's worth of meals?
Right.
2.
Yeah.
1 week?
Mm-hmm.
So $14.
Yep.
And then what?
It's up to you guys.
Okay.
I guess I'm approving it.
I'm just trying to figure it out, making sure.
I'm saying you got to establish some kind of charging procedure, and you said it's still in process. So
It is. And I think we can adapt that.
I think we're proving that you can establish some kind of limitation on what kids can charge within reason.
Are we looking to have something in place to start the school year?
It would be beneficial to have something that we can send out and we can start the year with.
I'm not sure we want to micromanage it right down to the wire, but
We have to approve
I
it.
think you got to have some kind of procedure that's
So do
in
we want
place.
to go with
So-
motion made as
So we can limit their charging to what amount? Because we'd need a dollar figure to follow.
limit their charging to $14.
For 7-12.
And that's full
for
price.
7-12, That's
That's-
fine.
So if you were reduced, that $14 would get you through the first quarter.
Okay.
If you're full, it's going to get you through a week.
Is that what you want?
It would be better because right now we have nothing to back up what we say.
Okay.
To bring money, but there's nothing. We just tell
Right.
them. There has to be something, but I don't want to turn kids away.
Right.
But the thought process is junior high, high school kids are old enough, they can pack their own lunch or bring something from home, where elementary kids cannot. So
They could also follow up with their parents on paperwork too.
all right. So do we want to amend that motion?
we have to let this one die first.
You can amend it at the second. Yeah.
We haven't.
I can amend the motion. if
Okay.
That's what you want.
Let's do that.
You want to establish a charging procedure for grades 7 to 12 to a limit of $14. And K through 6 are going to be able to continue to charge. How's that?
Also,
Any more discussion?
one last piece. If you have a 7 through 12 kid, gets to that $14, goes home, like Jesse just said, Mom, I owe $14. And they then establish that they have that reduced lunch. If they fill that out, then will we retro that back
It only happens after after the paperwork's on file.
after the paper?
Yep, will not retro.
So we need to get them to fill that out
Mhm.
now.
Yes. And we encourage that everywhere we can. I know. And we've had several that, they don't realize that they would qualify. I'm not going to qualify. And then they fill it out and they realize they qualify, and they go from, $500 a year to 60 in a matter of filling out a few things and signing a paper. It's a simple front side form.
Yeah.
You can fill it out.
I think we send that mass email out again too, Mike.
Yep. Okay.
Just send that email out about the forms again, and we just keep pushing people, because this is just wasting money if we can get it for free. And if they can't get it for free, then they probably got a credit limit like the rest of us, and it's now $14.
All right, so we have a motion and we have a second. We had our discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Motion carries. Next, we have the continuous improvement plan. Can I get a motion?
Yeah, I'll make a motion that we accept the continuous improvement plan, living, breathing document as presented.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
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 Motion carries. Next is approval of the supplemental contracts as presented 9/1 start the FY.
Yeah, and those are
school year.
the coaches and
Coaches.
with the
Right.
contracts and terms. Yeah. And then class sponsors, those type of things.
I'm going to move that we accept the supplemental contracts for 9/1 start fiscal year 2024.
I'll second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
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 Motion carries. Next, we have a couple corrections to our classified salary schedule.
So those, and Farah is willing to come on and visit about that a little bit too. But as we were going through all of these, there was a couple that kind of slipped through the cracks, so to speak, and we made adjustments to over 100 people in positions. So those are a couple that she worked through those numbers, and I gave those to you so you can kind of see where they're at. But those two positions, so we were looking to make the correction because they did not. For example, the transportation secretary and trainer is currently making less than a seasoned bus driver, and that position is currently held by a seasoned bus driver. That would be at least that minimum rate. That makes sense. So there's a few of those. Last year we had that same sort of thing. There were a few that kind of fell through the cracks. So we're just trying to catch all those. So.
Okay. All right. Can I get a motion?
Make a motion that we accept the classified salary schedule corrections for transportation secretary, trainer, and project director as presented.
I'll second.
Any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
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 Motion carries. Next up, we have the alternative authorizations for Angela Anderson at IDYCA and Kirsten Anderson at Timberline Elementary. Can I get a motion?
I'll move that we accept the alternative authorizations for Angela Anderson at IDYCA and Kirsten Anderson at Timberline Elementary School.
I'll second it.
Any discussion?
The paperwork is completed on both of those, and they're well on their way. Yep.
Okay. All right. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Motion carries. Next, new hires and separations. Can I get a motion?
I'll move that we accept the new hires and separations as listed.
I'll second it.
There was, yeah, you're good.
Yeah,
That
it's
was on
on
there. Yeah. So there was an addition, there was a resignation today that we wanted to get approved as well. That was added to the list for full transparency. Yeah.
Did Jesse second that?
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
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 Motion carries. All right, so with that, do we have any input for our next board meeting, which is September 18th at the Youth Challenge Academy? Anybody have anything? Yeah,
I don't.
I don't think we have any. Let me look here.
anything? Okay. All right.
I don't think there's a training session there.
That
Is
work
there?
session before that. I would-
I want to look.
please me.
September. Nope, you're in the clear.
Okay, good. All right, no work session, so that'll
Yeah.
just be a regular meeting in
Yep.
September. So it's gonna be a busy week, so.
Motion for adjournment.
All right, so can I get a motion for adjournment?
I'll move that we adjourn the meeting.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Meeting is now adjourned. Notice I don't ask for any discussion on that.
So I was just saying, discuss